SportsMe, what's going on? It's time for the SportsMe Daily Cash Games. Congratulations to LFG who won yesterday's, making that 2 in a row. Congratulations, back-to-back wins there. Let's go ahead and move on into today's topic, though. If you use performance-enhancing drugs, does that negate your accomplishments in sports? Does it wipe out the records that you may have set? What are y'all's thoughts on this one? If you use performance-enhancing drugs, does it change the way we need to view your accomplishments?
Absolutely not. Has nothing to do with anything. Everybody's looking for an edge, whether it's through drugs or rehab or training. It's all the same thing. They should be able to put their bodies through whatever they want to put their bodies through. It's not actually cheating. I'm just sick and tired of everybody making excuses for why they didn't think of it, why they didn't go the extra mile to win. If you're an athlete, especially a paid athlete, you should be able to do whatever it takes to get the edge you need.
What's good, man? It's TBG here. It all depends on the sport. So with baseball, they were pushing it on a lot of these players. And I will say that during the steroid era, it has to have less weight because so many players were taking it during this time. But I will say in a sport like MMA, if you get caught with PEDs after a fight, then yes, the fight should be a no contest. But with that being said, I firmly believe that Barry Bonds is the best baseball player of all time. So it doesn't negate what he did on the field.
Man, I love this. Trying to keep it going, guys. Thanks. But I think this should be treated subjectively, if I'm being honest. PEDs can increase your strength, but they can also increase injury if your tendons aren't up to par with how much strength you're putting on. Like Giancarlo Stanton, paying $300 million for a guy who's played 30% of his games. That certainly has an effect on your team. And now that they're pretty much illegal in all sports, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think it certainly does affect it. It certainly affects accomplishments. Or else we'd all be swinging with cork.
If it is against the rules and regulation of the sport, then absolutely it should affect how we view their accomplishments. If not, fair game. But just because the majority of players are doing something, if it's against the rules, it's against the fucking rules. Maybe I'm a stickler, but I don't know. Rules are rules. There for a reason.
Every sport, it clearly says you cannot take performance-enhancing drugs. Straight up. You test positive, you get in trouble. Yeah, that's not good for the actual game or sport that you're playing, right? Gives you that slight edge, which is why Barry Bonds is not really going to go into the Hall of Fame. Probably not. Mind you, some of these players are actually very good at what they do, but you still took enhancing drugs to make yourself better. So for those type of people, yeah, there needs to be a little asterisk next to their name saying that they actually took this while everyone else didn't.
Okay, so here's my take on it. Like some others have said, if it's against the rules in the rule book, then 100% it has to take away the accomplishments and how you view them. Like Barry Bonds was amazing before all the PED steroid era, but then they do that, and it doesn't matter if everyone's doing it, some are doing it, most of them are doing it. Still affects the record books of people that never touched it, never did it. So yeah, it affects their accomplishments and has to be seen that way. So that's my take on it.
Super Davis here. The short answer and the long answer is yes. It should be an asterisk next to it. The record shouldn't be necessarily wiped out. They should just have an asterisk next to it. Whether or not that they were accused and tested positive for the performance enhancement drugs. Yes, people will look down on the player more so if he was accused of taking the performance enhancement drugs.
Not at all. It makes it more fun. I want steroids. I want sticky stuff. I want large, angry, testosterone-filled people competing. Even if they're not the healthiest, I wanted them to be at peak competition status. People might disagree, but I just think sports are funner to watch if there's a little edge.